Now, what we're going to do now is deal with reductive EQ. So, what I will be searching for right now when I play anything is I'm going to be looking at which frequencies I don't need. So, is there anything that's in this mix that I don't actually need to be there? Like, so I can actually add an EQ on top of this kick drum. And I can check, I think there is one specific frequency inside there that I'd like to avoid. Okay, I want that taken out of the kick drum. Let us see with the claps and everything else. So let's see the clap. Yeah, I'd like to avoid all of these lows. I really don't need those. Yep. Let's see on the next clap. Everything else seems fine. Yeah, I don't hear nothing that I would like to take away. Yeah, this lower part of the clap, I actually like it. Gives some meat to it. I'm gonna check in the end how it sounds in all of the drums when I move it back and forth. Let's actually check that. Yeah, I want that heaviness out of the kick, out of the actual clap, sorry. Out of the first clap too. Let me see what the other one has. Yeah, we do have some junk low frequencies right there. Like that. Okay, next. Now we already took care of that on this hi-hat, taking away all the lows that we don't need. I just cut off a tiny bit of that beginning. Yeah, so they would start more abruptly. Yeah, just like that. Take the snap off. Okay, next one. And you can see the junk lows right there happening. It could be also from a single click somewhere in here, but I'm just going to make sure that I have nothing out of that spectrum there, because in a hi-hat I really don't need that. Yep, that's enough. Next. Right here also, I need to check if there's any junk frequencies I don't need. Exactly, this is what I'm listening for, to find out of a shaker or a tambourine. So this is what I actually need from it. Everything else that's lower than that, let me show you what that is. Let me just cut off everything useful and just leave everything not useful in there. So it's kind of a noise, not really that discerning, like a low frequency hit, but I don't really want that. So let's disable it and we will remove that junk. So it's something that you really don't hear in the recording, but once everything takes over, removing stuff like this is going to make your song sound clear and clean. So let's see what the next sound is. This. Let's see what that has. It also has lows, a lot of those. Yep, I could skip the ones below 100 hertz and leave that exclusively for the kick and the bass. Yep, enough. Let's see the next one. So I already dealt with that right here. Yeah, I just gonna cut off more of those lows that we don't need. I already dealt with one problematic frequency. So remember, I had that one that I didn't like. And the next is the ride. So let's see what we have in the ride. Okay, so I'm going to remove anything lower. Although there's nothing there, I just want to make sure that, not introducing any junk frequencies into this that I'm not actually, searching for in this sound. Let's see about the serum. Also, let's check out how much lows these have. Yeah, you see all of that low information. Yeah, we don't need that. So that's only dirtying up our bass, filling up that piece of the spectrum with the bass where we actually need for the bass and the kick drum to come out clearly and give us like clear dynamics for this kind of, house music. Let's see about these leads also, again. So you see, we do have a lot of those lows that we really don't need. Now, we don't want to thin it out completely, like, let's say like this. You see, now we're missing a lot of the character of the sound. So I just want to remove the unnecessary rumble. Just like that. Without taking away from the actual sound and its character, the richness and the fatness of it. Just like that. Nice. Let's get on to the next one. Next sound. That's our bass. That's good. Let's see what this has. Does this have any low, let's say low junk frequencies we don't need? Yep, also. Now let's see if we can mute out one of these resonant peaks like this. Nice, removing that seems to make it clearer for me. That's not the information from the sound that I actually need. I'm going to leave all of the 3 harmonics that play there intact. Next, this one is already been cut. Yep, none of the low. Okay, maybe a bit lower than what I did, so I did cut off that too much. Yep. But you see that lower portion of the information right there, it's not something that I'm going to hear through the entire mix, so I don't really need it that much. This is what I hear. Yeah, that's what I'm going to leave, actually. Okay, let's see with the crash too. Yeah, we don't need any lows in that crash. I'm just gonna use this really steep high pass. Like that. That's enough. We also have these risers right here. Yeah, we don't want no bass from that either. Yeah. So I'm gonna do a really gentle slope. Like that. Nice. This one too. I can just copy the same EQ onto this riser. Yep. That's good. Let's check out the last floppy sound like this. Ooh. I'm sure this has lows that we don't want. Good. Of all of these, I like that. I just want to remove one of those resonances that is produced by the bit crusher on one of these sounds. Okay, this is good. Not too much. I'm just going to remove a tiny bit of that. Just going to attenuate that a tiny bit. So we've done our reductive EQ phase. You can see the difference when I actually remove too much of the bass from this accompany style synthesizer. So it's actually where, you know, where the bass stops, where the actual bass plays, and where the bass stops in the frequency spectrum. That piece, it doesn't actually, you know, cover that well. Well, that's where this comes in to fill it up. But that part, like the lowest part of it, I want it to go down, so I'm going to use this shelf filter. Yeah, so I want that information in there. I want that piece of that sound in there, but not as loud, so that it could actually, you know, live in the same space where the bass is. Now, so far, that's it for our reductive EQ portion.